Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sport. And some breaking news. LUKHANYO is officially back. He has been back at the squad since Monday. Well, he was called up on Monday. It was announced that the World Cup winner in LUKHANYO will be replacing Makazole Pimpi in the Springbok squad over here in France. And he is officially back in training. And a video today surfacing of him with the Springboks in their training session today. His first World Cup training session, which means that the two big names, two of the three big names really, that the Springboks are going to miss into the World Cup in Thiago Pollard and LUKHANYO have got two of them back and in training. So really good to see from a Springbok perspective. We're interested to see sort of what sort of fitness LUKHANYO is in. Some people were sort of talking about, there was rumors that he wasn't really training and that it was taking him a while to get over this knee injury. However, he is officially back, and yeah, there's a video as well, courtesy of LUKHANYO on Twitter. Who, if you don't follow, make sure you do. Really always sort of has the latest stuff on the Springboks. Very reputable and hardworking journalist. So yeah, make sure you go and follow him on Twitter. We'll put his link in the description as well. Go and give him some of your support. But this is what he posted earlier, which is that LUKHANYO is back. As you can see, they're arriving at training with the box. Means everything to see Khaleesi, and I think, yeah, to be fair, that kind of reaction probably summing up exactly how the entire South Africa really feels about him being back. A lot of excitement, a lot of nervousness, I think, to a certain degree about, what sort of fitness he's in and stuff. We're not quite sure whether he'll actually be in contention to be in those quarterfinals and whether, this is more potentially long term, whether he might be sort of fit for the semis or the final, for example. And whether they'll even consider him, given the fact that he has not played rugby in a while. But, I suppose at the same time, Andre Pollard hadn't played since about May and then played half an hour in sort of September. Now he's back. LUKHANYO actually played in August. It was in Buenos Aires where he got that knee injury, which is at the beginning of August. So he's missed about 4 games, but he's missed less than about 2 months of rugby, really. So it's not as long as some injuries. You're sort of coming back, but again, we're not quite sure what sort of his fitness is, what his form will be. It would definitely be a risk if they were to play him to a certain degree, because you don't know from a fitness perspective, in terms of form, we don't really know where he is, and he could train brilliantly, for example, but there's always going to be that element of risk of until you play in an actual game, you won't know if the player's back or not. Having said that, the Springbok management have managed players pretty well, and if you look at the players that have come back from injury in a Siya Kolisi, for example, Pollard, they've looked pretty good when they've come back. I mean, Siya Kolisi felt like a house on fire when he made his return against Wales. Pollard on Sunday rather, against Tonga, maybe not one of the strongest teams out there, but looked very fit, looked very comfortable, looked very much back to his old self. So there's one thing I think that we can credit this box management for is that they kind of manage the players really well. They've had a couple of players who were maybe not in the best of form, and they managed to give them minutes here and there and shuffle things around. But they are starting to get the best out of a lot of players, and it is, at the end of the day, they're not going to take a risk on LUKHANYO unless they reckon he's fully fit and in good enough form to warrant him playing. Ahead of Canan Moodie and ahead of Jesse Kriel. Jesse Kriel's been really good. Canan Moodie, I think, has had some really good moments in that 13 jersey. Really good against the All Blacks, but hasn't, for me, in the last 2 games, hasn't blown the door down. Jesse Kriel's been very solid. He was very solid against Ireland, very solid against Scotland, and yeah, I think he's given them a bit of selection headaches. I think that he's given them no reason to drop him. It's not like we've really struggled at outside centre, and we've really had this massive, sort of crisis that LUKHANYO aren't going to be able to come in and sort of fill this void that we have at outside centre. I do think Jesse Kriel stepped up and played really well so far in the World Cup. And that's a nice position to be in, because you can still talk about maybe selecting LUKHANYO. I mean, they could very well still select him, but if they do, they'll be selecting him because they believe that he's going to add more than an on-form Jesse Kriel, and not just a case of, well, our 30s are nowhere basically, and maybe even an off-form LUKHANYO could be a better idea. So it does add to the headache, which is a good headache to have. It's a bit like Moynihan versus Pollard. They're both playing good rugby at the moment, from what we can see from Pollard. So now you're making that decision on a pure sort of who's the better player, or who's more suited to the game, rather than just, well, one player's really struggling, so we're hoping that he'll be a bit better. You now are making a much more informed, a much more comfortable decision about saying, right, we know both players are fully fit, they're both playing pretty well. This is the better option. That is the better option on a pure merit-based sort of selection, rather than just a form or a fitness sort of point of view. What do you guys think? Does he play in the quarterfinals? If he is available, let me know down in the comments below. Smash the like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. We guys give you guys updates all the way into the build-up of that quarterfinal, which we'll know about on Saturday night after Ireland take on Scotland. And yeah, I will chat to you guys all very, very soon.